The assault transport Retribution's Edge dropped out of hyperspace. Above Kepler 442b as dawn broke across the planet's primary continent. Commander Zixtal stood in the ship's observation deck, studying the Shadow Cartel's fortress through enhanced tactical displays. The structure sprawled across a mountain plateau like a metallic cancer, its towers bristling with defensive weapons and energy barriers that shimmered with deadly potential. Intelligence reports confirm 312 civilian hostages, reported Lieutenant Korth, his mandibles clicking with nervous energy. The facility is protected by overlapping plasma shield generators, automated defense turrets, and an estimated 400 cartel soldiers equipped with military-grade energy weapons. Zixtal nodded grimly. The Shadow Cartel had chosen their location well. The fortress commanded a view of the surrounding valleys, making conventional assault nearly impossible. Previous coalition attacks had failed because the defenders could eliminate incoming forces long before they reached effective weapon range. "Sir," Captain Veltar interrupted, his crystalline form reflecting the tactical displays. "The human unit is requesting final mission briefing. Colonel Chun says her team needs specific intelligence about target placement and defensive positions." "Show them what we know," Zixtal ordered. "Though I doubt their primitive weapons will make any difference against those energy barriers." The briefing room filled with coalition officers from multiple species as Colonel Chun arrived with her 12 specialists. The humans looked impossibly calm considering they were about to face one of the most heavily defended positions in the sector. Their weapons remained slung casually across their shoulders, as if they were heading to another training exercise rather than actual combat. "The primary objective is hostage extraction," Zixtal began, activating a three-dimensional model of the target facility. "The cartel is holding civilians in this central tower, heavily guarded and surrounded by energy barriers. Our assault plan calls for a frontal attack to draw their attention while special forces attempt infiltration from the rear." Colonel Qian studied the tactical display with professional interest. "Commander, what's the effective range of their defensive weapons?" "Their plasma cannons can engage targets up to 3 kilometers away," replied Captain Veltar. "Our energy weapons have similar range, but their shielding makes direct assault extremely costly." "And their personnel?" asked Sergeant Rodriguez, the sniper who had impressed everyone during the demonstration. "Cartel soldiers carry standard energy rifles with 2-kilometer range," Zixtal explained. "They're protected by personal energy shields and have extensive combat experience. Don't underestimate them because they're criminals." Master Sergeant Wong raised her hand. "What about their command structure? Have you identified key leadership targets?" Zixtal highlighted several positions on the tactical display. "Their commander, Captain Vexhai, operates from the central command tower. His lieutenants coordinate defensive sectors from these positions." He pointed to various elevated positions throughout the fortress. "Eliminating their leadership might disrupt their coordination, but they're well protected behind multiple layers of shielding." "Understood," Chun replied. "Commander, we'd like to request a slight modification to your assault plan." The alien commander's 4 eyes focused on her with skeptical attention. "What kind of modification?" "Deploy us approximately 4 kilometers from the target on this ridge." Chun indicated a mountainous position that overlooked the fortress from extreme range. "Give us 30 minutes before your main assault begins." 4 kilometers? Lieutenant Korth's compound eyes widened in disbelief. "That's beyond effective engagement range for any handheld weapon. What could you possibly accomplish from that distance?" Chun's smile was calm and confident. "Trust us, Lieutenant. Just give us those 30 minutes and then proceed with your assault as planned. I think you'll find our support more effective than expected." Zixtal considered the request. Placing the humans at extreme range would keep them safely out of the battle, while allowing them to maintain the illusion of participation. If their weapons proved as ineffective as he suspected, at least they wouldn't interfere with the real operation. "Granted," he decided. "Your transport will deposit you at grid reference 77 Alpha. Try not to get yourselves killed with friendly fire when the real fighting starts." 3 hours later, the human specialists found themselves positioned on a rocky outcrop that provided clear views of the Shadow Cartel fortress. The distance was indeed extreme, nearly 4.2 kilometers according to their rangefinders. Most of the alien observers would have needed telescopic equipment just to see individual targets at such range. Sergeant Rodriguez unpacked his sniper rifle with practiced efficiency, assembling the weapon's modular components while Corporal Park established their spotting position. The rifle was a masterpiece of human engineering, a .338 Lapua Magnum with advanced optics and precision manufacturing that achieved accuracy levels alien technology rarely matched. Wind speed is variable, Park reported, studying environmental conditions through her spotting scope. 2 to 4 meters per second, shifting direction every few minutes. Temperature differential between us and target is minimal. Range to primary targets, 4,100 meters. Staff. Sergeant Hassan positioned himself with a different weapon system, a .50 caliber anti-materiel rifle designed for engaging equipment and personnel at extreme ranges. The weapon looked impossibly crude compared to energy rifles, but its massive cartridges contained enough kinetic energy to punch through most known armor systems. Master Sergeant Wong selected her position carefully, setting up what humans called a designated marksman rifle. Her .308 Winchester was optimized for rapid, accurate fire at extended ranges while maintaining mobility. Around her, the other specialists prepared their various weapon systems, each designed for specific aspects of long-range precision shooting. Command. This is Eagle Eye, Chen reported over the communication system. Human sniper team is in position and beginning target acquisition. Acknowledged, Eagle Eye, came Zixtal's skeptical response. You have 27 minutes until assault begins. Try to stay out of our way. Rodriguez settled behind his rifle, beginning the methodical process human snipers called building a firing solution. Through his high-powered scope, he could see individual cartel soldiers moving through the fortress. The distance was extreme even by human standards, but not impossible for a properly trained marksman with the right equipment. I have eyes on the command tower, he reported quietly. Target is a Zalarian officer in ornate armor, probably Captain Vexhai. Range 4,120 meters. Wind call? Park studied her instruments and made rapid calculations that would have required sophisticated computers for other species. Wind 2.7 meters per second, northwest. Drop compensation, 7.2 meters. Moving to still position ... now. Rodriguez controlled his breathing, his finger finding the trigger's first stage. The scope's crosshairs settled on the distant figure, tracking with minute adjustments as he compensated for wind, gravity, and the target's movement. This was what separated human marksmen from other species, the ability to make instinctive calculations while maintaining steady aim. Under extreme conditions, the rifle's bark echoed across the valley, a sound that carried surprising distance in the thin atmosphere. 4.2 kilometers away, Captain Vexhai's head snapped back as a precisely placed projectile ended his command of the Shadow Cartel fortress. The kinetic energy was sufficient to penetrate his personal energy shields, proving that advanced technology couldn't always defeat simple physics applied with sufficient skill. Target down, Rodriguez reported calmly. Already shifting to acquire his next target, chaos erupted in the fortress as the cartel soldiers tried to understand how their commander had been eliminated from impossible range. Their own weapon systems couldn't even detect the source of the shot, let alone return effective fire. Energy weapons required line-of-sight targeting, and the human positions were beyond their sensor capabilities. Hassan engaged a defensive plasma cannon with his anti-materiel rifle. The massive .50 caliber projectile, traveling at over 800 meters per second. The kinetic impact shattered crystalline focusing elements that no energy weapon could have damaged without extended bombardment. One of the fortress's primary defensive systems went silent in a shower of sparks. Heavy weapon neutralized, Hassan reported, cycling his bolt-action rifle with practiced efficiency. Shifting to personnel targets, Wang began systematically eliminating cartel lieutenants who were attempting to reorganize their confused defenders. Her semi-automatic rifle allowed rapid engagement of multiple targets, each shot precisely placed to defeat personal shielding through kinetic superiority. The distinctive crack of human weapons began to create its own psychological effect, as enemy soldiers found themselves under attack from an invisible, unstoppable force. "Multiple targets down," Wang reported. "Their command structure is collapsing." The other human specialists had selected their own targets, communications equipment, sensor arrays, and key defensive positions. Each shot was carefully planned and executed with precision that bordered on supernatural. 6 months after the Kepler 442b operation, word of humanity's exceptional marksmanship had spread throughout Coalition space like wildfire. The official reports had been classified, but stories of impossible shots and silent kills reached every military installation in the galaxy. Commander Zixtel found himself fielding constant requests from other commanders who wanted human marksmen attached to their units, the Coalition. High Command had initially dismissed the reports as exaggerated propaganda. Energy weapons were the foundation of modern warfare, and the idea that primitive kinetic projectiles could outperform advanced plasma systems seemed absurd. However, as more human units demonstrated their capabilities across various operations, skepticism began giving way to genuine interest. "The humans are requesting expanded training programs," Admiral Kethver announced during the monthly command briefing. The massive Thoraxian's carapace gleamed under the conference room's lighting as he reviewed reports from across the sector. "They want to establish marksmanship schools for Coalition personnel." General Vorthak, the Coalition's primary strategic advisor, laughed dismissively. What could these newcomers possibly teach soldiers who have been using advanced weapons for centuries? Their success on Kepler 442b was likely due to favorable conditions and enemy incompetence. Zixtel considered his response carefully. The months following that operation had given him time to study human military doctrine and training methods. What he discovered had fundamentally changed his understanding of warfare itself. "General," he said respectfully, "I've observed human training programs firsthand. Their approach to marksmanship is unlike anything in Coalition doctrine. They don't just teach soldiers to operate weapons, they teach them to become weapons." The briefing room fell silent as senior officers from multiple species turned their attention to Zixtel. His reputation for tactical excellence made his opinions carry significant weight, but this seemed like an extraordinary claim even from him. "Explain," Admiral Kethver ordered. Zixtel activated a holographic display, showing footage from recent human training sessions. The images showed soldiers engaged in activities that looked almost primitive compared to standard Coalition methods, lying motionless for hours, practicing breathing techniques, and firing weapons that required manual operation between shots. "Human marksmen spend years developing what they call muscle memory," he explained. "Every movement becomes automatic, ingrained through repetition until conscious thought is unnecessary. When a human sniper acquires a target, calculations for range, wind, and trajectory happen instinctively." The display shifted to show comparison data from recent joint operations. Human accuracy rates exceeded Coalition standards by factors that bordered on the impossible, especially at extreme ranges where energy weapons became unreliable. "Moreover," Zixtel continued, "their weapons are incredibly reliable. Energy systems require power sources, complex electronics, and regular maintenance. Human kinetic weapons can function for decades with minimal care and don't depend on external power." Colonel Chun had been invited to address the High Command, and she stepped forward with characteristic confidence. Her presence at such a high-level meeting indicated how seriously the Coalition was beginning to take human military contributions. "Admirals, Generals," she began, "our species has been perfecting marksmanship for over 10,000 years. Every human soldier inherits techniques developed through countless wars and refined by generations of warriors. What you call primitive weapons represent the peak of kinetic projectile technology." She gestured to a display showing various human weapon systems. These rifles achieve mechanical precision that your manufacturing techniques cannot match. The metallurgy alone requires mastery of material science that most species never develop because they moved directly to energy weapons. General Vorthak remained skeptical. Colonel, while your soldiers have shown admirable skill, surely you understand that energy weapons offer capabilities your projectiles cannot match. Penetration power, rate of fire, ammunition capacity, these advantages are significant. Chun smiled politely. General, would you be willing to observe a demonstration? I believe seeing human marksmanship in action might address your concerns more effectively than theoretical discussions. The demonstration was arranged on Proxima Station, the Coalition's primary training facility. Representatives from dozens of species gathered to witness what many expected to be an embarrassing display of outdated technology. The testing range extended to maximum distances, with targets placed at ranges up to 5 kilometers under various environmental conditions. Master Sergeant Wong took position with a rifle while alien observers watched through advanced monitoring equipment. The target was a small metallic disc placed at 4,800 meters, barely visible even with enhanced optics. Wind conditions were challenging, with variable gusts and thermal layers that made energy weapon targeting extremely difficult. Target acquired, Wong reported calmly. Wind varies from 2 to 6 meters per second, switching directions every 90 seconds. Temperature differential creating thermal distortion. She settled behind her weapon with the patience that characterized human marksmen. Minutes passed as she studied conditions, made minute adjustments, and waited for the optimal moment. The alien observers grew restless. Accustomed to weapons that fired immediately when triggers were pressed, the rifle's crack echoed across the range as Wong's shot broke. 5 kilometers away, the metallic target rang with the distinctive sound of kinetic impact. Monitoring systems confirmed a direct hit, despite conditions that would have challenged even the most advanced energy weapons. Acceptable, General Vorthak admitted grudgingly, though I noticed the extended preparation time required for each shot. General, Colonel Chun replied, that was a demonstration of precision shooting. Let me show you something different. Sergeant Hassan stepped forward with what humans called a semi-automatic designated marksman rifle. The weapon looked similar to Wong's, but was designed for rapid engagement of multiple targets rather than extreme range precision. New targets appeared at various distances, programmed to move unpredictably while maintaining realistic movement patterns. Hassan raised his weapon smoothly, acquiring the first target with fluid grace. His shots came in controlled pairs, each separated by less than a second as he tracked moving targets across the range. The distinctive double crack of controlled pairs echoed repeatedly as target after target fell to his precise fire. 12 targets engaged in 18 seconds, Chun reported as the simulation ended. All hits were within lethal zones despite target movement and environmental factors. The demonstration continued with various human specialists showcasing different aspects of their craft. Urban combat scenarios, long-range interdiction, and anti-materiel techniques were all displayed with competence that left the alien observers speechless. Each human seemed to possess an intuitive understanding of ballistics that no amount of technological assistance could replicate, but the most impressive demonstration came from Private Kim, who had requested a special scenario. Enemy targets were placed behind various types of cover energy barriers, metallic shields, and composite armor that would normally stop kinetic projectiles. The aliens expected this to reveal the limitations of human weapons. Kim selected ammunition that most coalition forces had never seen before, specialized projectiles designed to defeat specific types of protection, armor-piercing rounds that could penetrate energy shields through kinetic superiority, fragmenting projectiles that could neutralize targets behind partial cover, even electromagnetic pulse rounds that could disable electronic systems without causing permanent damage. Your projectile weapons have this level of sophistication? Admiral Kethver asked in amazement as Kim systematically defeated every type of protection the test facility could provide. Admiral, Chun explained, humans have spent centuries developing ammunition for specific tactical requirements. We have projectiles that can penetrate any known armor, others that can disable equipment without permanent damage, and even rounds that can change trajectory mid-flight to engage targets behind cover. The final test involved a scenario that had stumped Coalition forces for years, engaging multiple targets simultaneously while avoiding civilian casualties. In a complex urban environment, the simulation was based on real operations where energy weapons had proven too destructive. For precision work in populated areas, the human team worked together with coordination that seemed almost telepathic. Each marksman took responsibility for specific sectors, while maintaining awareness of their teammates' positions and targets. Their fire was precise enough to neutralize threats without endangering nearby civilians, something that energy weapons struggled to accomplish due to their area effect nature. The projectiles travel in predictable trajectories, Chun explained as the simulation progressed. Our marksmen can calculate exactly where each bullet will go, allowing surgical precision that energy beams cannot match. When civilian safety is paramount, kinetic weapons offer control that plasma systems simply cannot provide. General Vorthak studied the results with growing amazement. Your accuracy rates exceed our theoretical maximums for handheld weapons. How's day? Commander Zixtel of the Galactic Coalition sneered as he reviewed the personnel files on his holographic display. The blue-skinned Valkyrian officer's 4 eyes moved independently as he scanned through the data, his expression growing more dismissive with each human profile he examined. These Terrans, he muttered to his aide. Lieutenant Korth, look at their military records. They still use projectile weapons that fire metal pellets. How primitive. The Coalition had recently accepted Earth into their ranks after humanity had proven capable of faster-than-light travel. However, the integration process required human military units to undergo evaluation alongside seasoned alien forces. Zixtel commanded the 47th Elimination Battalion, comprised of elite soldiers from 12 different species, each equipped with the most advanced energy weapons the galaxy had to offer. Sir, Korth replied, his insectoid mandibles clicking nervously. The humans have requested to bring their own weapons for the upcoming joint operation. On Kepler 442b, they claim their equipment is ... Zixtel's laugh was a harsh, grating sound that echoed through the command center. Adequate? We're dealing with the Shadow Cartel's most fortified stronghold. Those pirates have energy shields, plasma barriers, and automated defense systems that can melt through starship hulls. And these humans want to bring their little metal-throwing devices? The mission briefing had been clear. The Shadow Cartel had established a heavily defended base on Kepler 442b, using it as a staging ground for raids throughout the sector. Intelligence suggested they held over 300 civilian hostages from various worlds, using them as both slaves and human shields. The Coalition's previous 2 attempts to assault the facility had failed miserably, resulting in significant casualties and no progress. Perhaps we should reconsider their request. Commander, suggested Captain Veltar, a towering Krillian whose crystalline skin reflected the ambient light of the ship's systems. Their species did achieve interstellar flight independently. Zixtel waved a dismissive hand. One lucky breakthrough in physics doesn't make them warriors, Captain. Look at their specifications. He gestured to the hologram, which displayed various human weapons. Kinetic projectiles with chemical propellants. Maximum effective range of 800 meters. Compare that to our plasma rifles with their 2-kilometer range and energy bursts that can vaporize molecular bombs. The human delegation had arrived 3 days earlier aboard a modest transport vessel that looked positively ancient compared to the Coalition's sleek warships. Their leader, Colonel Sarah Chun, had been polite but firm about her unit's capabilities. She commanded a mixed group of specialists, snipers, reconnaissance experts, and tactical marksmen from Earth's various military organizations. The humans are requesting a demonstration, Korth reported, reading from his communication pad. They want to show us their capabilities before the mission. A waste of time, Zixtel grumbled, but his curiosity was piqued despite himself. Very well. Set up targets in the training bay. Let them embarrass themselves with their antique weapons. Maybe then they'll understand why they need proper equipment. Word of the demonstration spread quickly through the ship. Soldiers from various species gathered in the expansive training facility, eager to see what the new human allies could accomplish. The atmosphere was one of barely concealed amusement, with several alien warriors placing bets on how poorly the humans would perform. Colonel Chin entered with her team of 12 specialists, each carrying weapons that looked crude compared to the elegant energy rifles favored by coalition forces. The humans wore simple combat uniforms without the advanced armor systems that protected their alien counterparts. Their weapons appeared to be mechanical contraptions with wooden or synthetic stocks, metallic barrels, and various optical attachments. Commander Zixtel, Chun said with a respectful nod. Thank you for allowing this demonstration. My team would like to show you what human marksmanship can achieve. Zixtel gestured toward the far end of the training bay, where holographic targets flickered to life at distances ranging from 500 to 1,500 meters. Please, Colonel, demonstrate away. Though I should warn you, those targets are programmed to move unpredictably, simulating real combat conditions. Sergeant Marcus Rodriguez stepped forward first, carrying what the humans called a sniper rifle. The weapon looked impossibly basic to the alien observers, lacking any visible energy source or technological sophistication. He assumed a prone position, adjusting his scope with careful precision while his spotter, Corporal Jessica Park, called out environmental factors. Wind speed 2.3 meters per second northeast. Temperature differential minimal. Range to target 1,200 meters. Rodriguez's breathing became steady and controlled. The alien spectators watched with growing skepticism as he seemed to do nothing but lie still. His weapon pointed toward a target that was barely visible even with enhanced alien vision. Is he malfunctioning? Whispered a Thoraxian soldier, his beetle-like head tilting in confusion. The sound that followed was unlike anything the coalition forces had heard in combat. A sharp crack echoed through the training bay, followed immediately by the distant chime indicating a successful target hit. The aliens looked at their displays in disbelief. The projectile had struck the target's center mass despite its erratic movement pattern. Lucky shots, Zixtel commented. Though his tone carried less certainty than before, Rodriguez methodically engaged 6 more targets at various ranges, each shot accompanied by that same distinctive crack. Every projectile found its mark with precision that bordered on the impossible. When he finished, the display showed 7 perfect hits out of 7 attempts. Interesting, Captain Veltar admitted, his crystalline features reflecting his surprise. Though I notice he required several seconds between each shot. Our energy weapons can fire continuously. Colonel Chun smiled. Sergeant Rodriguez specializes in long-range precision. Let me show you something different. She gestured to Staff Sergeant Ahmed Hassan, who carried a different type of weapon with a shorter barrel and what appeared to be a magazine, containing multiple projectiles. Hassan moved to a standing position as new targets materialized. These holographics were programmed to move rapidly, simulating enemy soldiers advancing under fire. The human warrior raised his weapon smoothly to his shoulder and began engaging targets with controlled bursts of fire. The alien observers heard a different sound now, rapid, rhythmic cracks as Hassan's weapon discharged multiple projectiles in quick succession. Target after target fell as he tracked moving holograms with fluid precision. His movements were economical, purposeful, and devastatingly effective. How is he tracking them so accurately? Demanded Lieutenant Korth, his compound eyes straining to follow Hassan's movements. Those targets are moving at combat speed. Practice, Chun replied simply. Thousands of hours of training with these weapons? Our marksmanship isn't just about the equipment, it's about the shooter. The demonstration continued with each human specialist showcasing different aspects of their craft. Corporal Maria Santos demonstrated urban combat techniques, engaging multiple targets while moving between cover positions. Private First Class David Kim showed how human marksmen could effectively engage targets at ranges. previously thought impossible for kinetic weapons, but it was Master Sergeant Patricia Wong who truly captured the aliens' attention, armed with what humans called a designated marksman rifle. She took on the most challenging scenario, multiple moving targets at varying ranges while under simulated suppressing fire from the training system's automated weapons. Wong moved like liquid mercury, flowing from position to position while maintaining accuracy that defied the aliens' understanding of ballistics. Her weapon's distinctive crack punctuated the simulation as target after target fell to her precise fire. She engaged enemies behind partial cover, hitting exposed portions of their anatomy with surgical precision. "This is impossible," Zixtel muttered, studying his readouts. "The computational requirements alone should make this level of accuracy unachievable without targeting computers." "Commander," Chun said quietly, "what you're seeing isn't computer assistance. It's human instinct combined with rigorous training. Our species has been perfecting marksmanship for thousands of years. Every human marksman develops an intuitive understanding of ballistics, environmental factors, and target prediction." The final demonstration involved all 12 human specialists working together in a coordinated engagement. The training system generated a complex scenario with dozens of targets at multiple ranges, some stationary, others moving in unpredictable patterns. The humans spread out across the training floor, each taking responsibility for specific sectors of fire. What followed was a symphony of precision. The distinctive cracks of human weapons created an almost musical rhythm as the specialists engaged their assigned targets. There was no visible communication between them, yet their fire coordination was flawless. They avoided engaging the same targets while ensuring comprehensive coverage of the entire scenario. In less than 2 minutes, 47 enemy simulations had been eliminated with 0 friendly fire incidents. The human team had expended fewer than 60 rounds total, meaning their ammunition efficiency exceeded 90 perc.